Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto 2 Blue Vortex discussion. Today, I want to talk to you guys about this big elephant in the room, which was the decision to have Kurama respawn inside of Himawari and the explanation that he gave for how he was inside of her body. Kurama being back alive in of itself, it caused quite the stir in the community, with half of the fandom in utter outrage and the other half going, hey, this makes a lot of sense. Longtime viewers of the channel, you guys know I made all the jokes in the world about how Kurama went spoke smoke and the Rinnegan went poke poke, and I even had merchandise made for a limited point of time making fun of Kurama's death. But Kurama being alive, it wasn't a retcon the way that a lot of people are saying, but it did make a lot of people upset. So much so to the point where even the explanation given, it wasn't enough to move some people who were so deeply entrenched in their hate for the revival that anything short of Jesus, Allah, Shiva, and all the gods of Mount Olympus appearing in the manga and explaining via the narrator how Kurama was brought back to life, none of that was going to be acceptable to them. However, in today's newest Naruto Explain video, I want to have a serious discussion on whether or not I think this outrage is warranted. While I personally don't see the problem with Kurama dying or the explanation given for his revival, I do see where the dislike is coming from. There is this belief that Kurama being alive, it cheapens the cost of burial mode and the sacrifice that Naruto made to be able to defeat Ishiki. There are people that believe by extension it makes Ishiki's defeat mean a whole lot less. It has a lot of people deeply in their emotions, which from a writing perspective, that's what you want to accomplish, that goal, because it means that you produce something that intentionally struck a chord with the readers who, for as much as they say otherwise, they're not dropping the series. I've been hearing that for almost 8 years now with Boruto. They ain't dropped it yet. They'll continue reading to see what happens next, because anime and manga fans, they tend to overreact on average. You stay in fandoms long enough, you see it. But empty threats aside, the reason I think that Kurama's return and his explanation works is that it doesn't cheapen his death against Ishiki. It doesn't make light of the pain that Naruto experienced and the pain that we as readers or viewers at that moment in the manga and anime respectively felt. It doesn't make Ishiki look weak by dying the way that he did, and I'll explain why I feel as strong as I do and why I think that the narrative did the right thing by leaning into the controversy in the way that it did in chapter 10. Yes, death when done right, it is an amazing tool as a writer that you have at your disposal to raise the stakes and make new character interactions and just shake things up in general. It's why an editor will tell a writer that when characters have outlived their usefulness, to either write them out the story or you just kill them off in a way that is befitting of their character arc, which shonen tend to do the former, since death tends to be a controversial thing in battle shonen when it happens to someone, especially in the main cast, or in this case they're a legacy character. However, Kurama dying, it made perfect sense. Naruto's pain, it made sense. It was earned. This revival doesn't take away from that because it was a full circle moment for Naruto as a character. It's hard to remember this, but Naruto was not born into this world as a Jinchuriki. He was made into one against his will and without any say-so in the matter. Shortly after he was born, his mother fought his father to prevent this from happening. His status as a Jinchuriki was a direct cause to so much of the pain and suffering that he had to endure along his long bumpy road to be Hokage, and it built up such a strong morale for his character that he has. Naruto, part of why he can stand on business is because of all the trials and tribulations he went through as a Jinchuriki. One could make the argument, a very strong argument in my opinion, that had Naruto never been a Jinchuriki, he wouldn't be the Naruto who we all know and love today. That weight and that fate that was lifted from Naruto's shoulders when Kurama died, trading his life to play a key role in defeating the greatest threat to the ninja world that it had ever seen, Ishiki Otsutsuki. Naruto, for the first time in his life, since the first few minutes, literally the first few minutes of his life, was no longer a Jinchuriki anymore. Kurama was gone. The connection to the Biju sanctuary that Kurama was the key to and the guardian to, it was gone. Naruto, for the first time in the 33 43 years of his life was no longer Naruto Uzumaki, the 7th Hokage, and the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails, who was in possession of chakra, the 9 Biju, making him a pseudo 10-tailed Jinchuriki. He was now simply Naruto Uzumaki, the 7th Hokage, the war hero, and that's a much bigger deal than people realize. Allow me to kind of shed some light on this. Viewers who kept up with the videos I made when I was covering the Naruto Wrestling Trilogy will recall the moment where Naruto found himself looking at this photo of his father Minato and his mother Kushina shortly after Minato was made Hokage, and thinking to himself that he was a worse Hokage than his father for that very reason, that Naruto was a Jinchuriki and Minato wasn't. Minato didn't come from some famous clan. By Naruto's own words, that's not headcanon. Minato was a rare generational talent that happened to pop up out of some random no-name family that nobody gave zero fucks about in universe, about the Namikaze clan, this mythical flying unicorn clan. He didn't have some fancy Kekkei Genkai like the Sharingan or Wood release. His clan didn't have some fancy hidden jutsu like the mind transfer jutsu, the expansion jutsu, the shadow possession jutsu. The Namikaze clan were probably shining shoes and probably holding Hiruzen's pee-pee when he took a leak in the Hokage bathroom. Minato was not directly trained by a Hokage. Naruto, on the other hand, he came from the Uzumaki bloodline, the clan known for their sealing jutsu and being the distant relatives of the Senju clan. He was born with a strong life force. He was born with a large chakra pool, and he was born with the rare chakra that Kushina possessed that made her stand out even amongst the Uzumaki clan. Naruto had been trained by the same legendary master that Minato was trained by, but he was also trained by the future 6th Hokage as well. He was born with Ashura Otsutsuki's chakra. Naruto felt that had it not been for those things, he would not have become Hokage, which at this point, Kurama steps into the story and tells him how much he's wrong, because Kurama says that all those things, they're not why Naruto became Hokage, and Kurama tells him that even if Naruto lost Kurama's chakra, he was still more than worthy enough to hold the title of Hokage, and more than worthy enough to hold the title compared to any of the 6 Hokage that Kurama had seen before Naruto. And he goes as far as to say that had Naruto never had Kurama's chakra, he still would have became Hokage. Naruto seeing Kurama die, it gave Naruto the freedom of that small voice in the back of his mind. Perhaps it's a seed that's a product of Neji's words about fate and how people are just destined to be Hokage. But losing Kurama, it lifts that weight off of Naruto. He came into this world not being a Jinchuriki, and now he was given the opportunity to leave this world without being a Jinchuriki. He, for the first time, had the opportunity to live life simply as Naruto Uzumaki. The struggles that Naruto went through before this, they simply don't go away. They are still with Naruto. They still mold him into the diamond that he is today. Kurama coming back doesn't make Ishiki look weak. Ishiki went into a battle against Shinobi and he was defeated by Kawaki, who used Shinobi Jutsu to trick him and finish him off, going all the way back to when Ishiki was controlling Jigen's body. What was the thing that made him the most annoyed? It was the Shinobi trickery that Sasuke and Naruto used that almost killed him, because Sasuke figured out the weakness to the Sukuna Hikona. It was Shinobi trickery by Sasuke that saw Ishiki blinded by the Dojutsu blinding smoke bomb, because Sasuke in the manga places the smoke bomb at his feet before switching with Kawaki and instructing him to throw it so it can blind Ishiki's dojutsu to allow him to escape, which that cements Sasuke getting his Rinnegan stab, because it also blinds Sasuke's Rinnegan because the smoke clouds are still in the air when that happened. Kawaki took the opportunity to use a shadow clone to catch Ishiki off guard and made him believe that he had cheated death by giving Kawaki the Karma Seal, when he really just marked a shadow clone, and it gave Kawaki the chance to literally stomp Ishiki out of existence and deal the final blow on Ishiki. Naruto using Baryon mode, a power given to him by a fox spirit, which in Japanese mythology, fox spirits, they're wise tricksters, in particular the ones with 9 tails. They're the trickiest and they're the smartest. It all goes back to the thematic reasoning of ninja trickery. When Kurama showed up inside of Himawari, he tells her that Biju, they don't die, which that's established in Naruto's manga. They might die temporarily, but they don't stay dead. They come back as part of that samsaric cycle of life, death, and rebirth. Normally, they are respawned somewhere else out there in the wild, and it usually takes longer than what happened with Kurama, but what we see here with Kurama saying that he was brought back inside of Himawari is another Asian concept at work. Notice the wording here that Kurama used. He said that a kernel of his existence would sprout somewhere elsewhere, and he was shocked that it sprouted in Himawari, but he said he believed that she might have been born with part of his chakra. It's a roundabout way to reintroduce the concept of transmigration. Just as Naruto was unknowingly born with Ashura's chakra, but this time it wasn't at least some random moment like Ashura and Indra's chakra is just floating through chakra space here in time going, yeah, that looks like the right vessel to make my reincarnation. This one here at least made some sense logically, because this was the first known moment in the series where a male Jinchuriki had children. Up until this point, it was always the women, we were told, that had complications when they had children. The seal loosened during childbirth. The idea of something like that happening with male Jinchuriki, it makes sense and explains why the Kage never allowed male Jinchuriki to have kids. Yes, we have the fourth Mizukage who had a child. His grandchild shows up in the Hidden Mist Village arc, and that arc is canon to the manga, but looking at the timeline itself, we know that Yagura became a Jinchuriki in the time after Rin died with the three tails inside of her, and Yagura, yes, he looked young, but his age is never confirmed. Looking at the manga, particularly at the chapters I'm about to list out to you, chapter 629, chapter 507, chapter 454, chapter 317, chapter 140. If you look at the timeline, we know that there was a 17-year gap, but Yagura wasn't made a Jinchuriki at birth because he'd already been the Three Tails Jinchuriki by the time that Obito met him in the years after Rin died, and he was already Kazekage. He looked young, and given Kagura's age, he would have already had a child before Obito was controlling him, and before Zabuza attempted to kill him. We don't know if he had that child right before he got made into Jinchuriki or afterwards. I would venture to say it was the former. It's for that reason I don't really see an issue here, because Himawari is the only child we know with absolute certainty that it was confirmed got part of the Biju chakra from a Jinchuriki, a kernel that did not sprout until Kurama's chakra transmigrated to her. The same way a seed doesn't automatically become a tree, let alone a tree that bears any type of fruit. I think it's fine that this is the case. Say Boruto was also born with part of a seed inside of him, but Boruto having been turned into an otsutsuki and having his body altered genetically, it would have blocked that, which made Himawari the candidate for the transmigration, the whole process, and why the seed that was inside of her suddenly began to sprout. I am curious to know how you guys feel about this though. In the meantime, click here for my new Kryptonian Saiyan video, or click here for this Naruto Explain video.